Hey everyone. Ready to unlock some seriously cosmic secrets.
Sounds intriguing.
We're going deep into Hindu predictive astrology today.
Okay.
And trust me,
Okay.
it's way more than just
Yeah.
your basic horoscopes.
Okay, cool.
We're going right to the source,
Okay.
cracking open a classic.
Mm.
This is a 1996 text by B.V. Raman called Hindu Predictive Astrology
Okay.
to really give you a crash course
Right.
in this ancient system.
Well,
So by the end of this deep dive,
yeah.
you'll be dropping some serious knowledge
Okay.
about planetary friendships and yogas, like a total pro.
Okay, I like it.
What do you think?
You know, it's fascinating how Hindu astrology,
Yeah.
it goes way beyond just predicting the future.
Right.
It's really about understanding all these energies
Yeah.
that are at play in our lives.
Right.
And using that knowledge to navigate,
Yeah.
all the challenges that we face and then growing from them.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
having this cosmic roadmap, but you get to actually choose your destination.
Yes, exactly.
So let's start with
okay.
the basics here. What is the real deal with astrology in daily life? What's the point?
One of the biggest misconceptions that I've come across is that it's all about fate, right?
Oh, okay.
Like you're stuck with whatever the stars say.
Okay.
But this text really emphasizes the opposite.
Really?
It actually has a great quote that says, "Fools obey planets
Okay.
while wise men control them."
Whoa. Okay, that's powerful.
Yeah.
So it's more about understanding those energies
Yes.
and then using them to your advantage.
Absolutely. It's about self-awareness.
Oh, okay.
Recognizing those potential pitfalls
Yeah.
and making conscious choices to navigate them.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like having a heads up about the road ahead
Yeah.
so you can swerve those potholes.
Exactly.
Now, I know you mentioned that there are different schools of thought within Hindu astrology.
Yeah.
Could you break those down for us a little bit?
Certainly. So there are three main schools.
Okay.
Parasari, Jaimini, and Tajaka.
Okay.
And each of them has its own unique approach.
Okay.
But for today's deep dive, we'll focus on the Parasari school.
Okay.
Since it's the most common.
Right.
And it's actually the one that Raman's text is based on.
Okay.
And it's amazing to think that this system comes from the teachings of this sage, Parasara, who lived over 5,000 years ago.
Talk about ancient wisdom.
Yes.
Okay, let's get cosmic here.
Okay.
What about planetary influences and the zodiac signs?
Right. So in Hindu astrology, we work with 9 planets.
Okay.
You've got your usual suspects, the Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn.
Yep.
But then there's also Rahu and Ketu, which represent these lunar nodes, adding a slightly different flavor.
Right.
And all of these planets are moving through the zodiac, also known as the circle of light.
Okay.
Which is divided into those 12 signs we all know, each with their own qualities.
So far, so familiar.
Yeah.
But I've heard of some really interesting concepts in Hindu astrology, like exaltations and debilitations.
Yes.
What's that all about?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
So each planet has a sign where it's exalted, meaning its positive qualities are amplified.
Okay.
Think of it as the planet being in its power position, and then there's a sign where it's debilitated, meaning its influence is weakened.
So a planet's placement in a specific sign can really change its impact.
Exactly.
Okay.
It adds a whole other layer of nuance to the interpretation.
Okay, my mind is already expanding.
Good.
Now, something that's always fascinated me is the Hindu system of timekeeping. It's so different from what we're used to.
It really is.
Yep.
Instead of hours and minutes, they use Gaudis and Vigadis.
Whoa, okay.
So Gaudi is about 24 minutes.
Okay.
And a Vigadi is about 24 seconds.
Wow.
But it goes even deeper than that.
Really?
They have a 60-year cycle.
Okay.
Where each year has a unique name, like Prabhava or Vipava.
Oh, wow.
Imagine trying to keep track of birthdays.
That's next level calendar keeping.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got these unique time measures.
Yeah.
We've got the planets cruising through the zodiac.
Right.
How does it all come together in a birth chart?
So a birth chart, or what we call a Janma Kundli, is basically a snapshot of the heavens at the exact moment you were born.
Oh, cool.
It uses your birth time, date, and location to map out where all the planets were at that precise moment.
So accurate birth time is key.
Absolutely. Even a few minutes can make a difference because the planets are constantly moving.
Right.
And this chart is then divided into 12 segments called houses. each representing a different area of life.
Right.
You know, personality, finances, relationships,
Yes.
career, and so on.
Okay.
And the planets are then placed in these houses
Okay.
based on their positions at your birth.
It's like a stage with the houses as the backdrop,
Yeah, right.
And the planets are the actors playing out different roles in your life.
That's a great analogy.
Now, remember the ascendant or rising sign we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
In Hindu astrology, it's called the Lagna,
Yes.
and it's super important.
It is. It's the zodiac sign rising on the eastern horizon at your birth.
Right?
And it sets the tone for, like, your entire chart,
Okay.
shaping your personality and how you approach life.
So even though it sounds complex,
Yeah.
the basic structure of the chart has some similarities to Western astrology.
Yes, but the interpretations and predictive techniques, that's where things really diverge.
Right. That's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
But before we get into all of that, I think it's helpful to just decode some of the astrological lingo.
Okay.
Because I've heard terms like Rasi, Hora, Trimsamsa.
Yes.
What do those even mean?
Right. They can sound a bit intimidating at first.
Yeah.
But they're just different ways of dividing the zodiac into smaller units.
Okay.
So Rasi is just another word for zodiac sign, that 30-degree segment we're all familiar with.
Okay. That's easy enough.
Yeah.
What about Hora?
So a hora is half a sign.
Okay.
So each sign is split into these two 15-degree horas.
Okay.
And the cool part is the first hora in odd signs is ruled by the sun.
Okay.
And the second by the moon. And in even signs, it's reversed.
So even within a single sign, there are layers of rulership.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay.
And then we have Trimsamsa, which is a super detailed division.
Okay.
It's 130th of a sign.
Okay.
Meaning each sign has 30 1-degree Trimsamsas.
Oh, wow.
Each with its own planetary ruler.
Wow, that's getting super granular.
Sure.
Are there even more subdivisions?
Oh, yes, there's even more.
Wow.
Like Saptamsa, which is 17th of a sign.
Okay.
And Navamsa, which is 19th of a sign.
Okay.
And these are used for specialized analyses.
Okay.
Getting into some really intricate interpretations.
Like zooming in on a fractal, there are always more patterns to discover.
Precisely.
Now let's talk about planetary relationships.
Yes.
Which is where I think those friendships and amities come in.
Exactly.
I've always loved that idea.
Yeah.
It's like the planets have their own like social dynamics going on, right?
Exactly.
So each planet has like these inherent relationships with the others.
Yes.
Some are buddies, some are rivals, some are neutral.
Yes. Based on their elemental qualities.
Okay.
And even mythological stories.
So like
the
Sun and Mars might be pals because they're both fiery. While Venus and Mars might clash because their energies are so different.
Right. But there are also temporary friendships and enmities based on their positions in the chart.
Okay.
So even natural enemies can become allies, depending on where they're hanging out in the zodiac.
It's like your personality might change depending on who you're hanging out with.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, how about we talk about the dasa system?
Okay.
Which is a fascinating way that Hindu astrology approaches predicting the future.
Okay.
Ready to time travel through your life?
Bring on the cosmic time machine.
Okay, so the dasa system, it's based on the idea that each planet gets to rule for a specific number of years in your life.
Oh, wow.
And these periods influence the themes and experiences that are likely to dominate during that time.
So each planet takes center stage for a while.
Yes. The order of these dasa periods is fixed and calculated based on the position of the moon in your birth chart.
Okay.
And each dasa is further divided into subperiods called bhuktis, which are ruled by other planets.
So it's like a planetary relay race with each planet passing the baton to the next?
It's a great way to think about it.
Right.
These calculations can get complex.
Oh, okay.
But they essentially offer a roadmap for anticipating those potential challenges and opportunities based on the planetary influences at play during those specific periods.
Okay, dasa check.
Right.
Now, what about planetary aspects?
Okay.
Because they're a big deal in Western astrology.
Yeah.
But I've heard Hindu astrology does things a bit differently.
You're right.
How so?
In Western astrology, aspects are measured by the angular distance between planets.
Right.
But in Hindu astrology, they're calculated from sign to sign.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So if a planet is 3 signs away from another, it's a trine aspect, regardless of the exact degrees.
Exactly. Yeah. And here's another key difference. In Hindu astrology, all planets aspect.
Yeah.
The 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 10th houses from their position.
Okay.
Whether there are planets in those houses or not.
So those aspects are always active?
Yes, but with varying strengths.
Okay.
The 7th house aspect is the strongest.
Okay.
While the 3rd and 10th are considered weaker.
And I remember you mentioned that Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars,
yes,
they have their own special aspects too.
Right. So Saturn strongly aspects the 3rd and 10th houses.
Okay.
Jupiter the 5th and 9th, and Mars the 4th and 8th.
Okay.
On top of their standard aspects.
Okay, so those planets have like a wider sphere of influence.
Absolutely.
Now, this might be a sensitive topic.
Yeah.
But I know the text also touches on lifespan and death. I'm curious how Hindu astrology approaches this.
Right.
Like such a delicate subject.
In Hindu astrology, death isn't seen as like the end.
Okay.
But as a transition to another state of existence, part of this continuous cycle of life, death, and rebirth.
Right.
It's a natural part of the journey.
That's a comforting perspective.
Yeah.
Now, are there specific combinations in the birth chart related to lifespan?
There are. The text talks about Balarishta.
Balarishta. Okay.
Which indicates potential infant mortality.
Oh, wow.
And there are specific planetary placements that suggest this.
Okay, so astrologers would be looking for those combinations.
Exactly.
When assessing a newborn's chart.
Right. Right. There are also categories like Alpayu for a short life.
Okay.
Matayu for a medium life. And Purnayu for a full lifespan.
So even though those topics can be tough, Hindu astrology offers a way to understand them.
Yes.
Within a larger spiritual context.
It does. It reframes death not as something to fear, but a natural part of the soul's journey.
That's a beautiful way to look at it. Now, let's shift gears to something a bit more uplifting.
Okay.
I know Hindu astrology emphasizes yogas.
Yes.
Which are these auspicious combinations in the birth chart that can bring positive results.
Yeah, think of yogas as like cosmic power-ups.
Okay.
They're these special planetary alignments that can unlock your potential, bring good fortune, and lead to success in various areas of life.
Okay, now I'm definitely intrigued. Can you share some examples of these yogas and what they might bring?
Let's start with Gaja Yoga.
Gaja Yoga. Okay.
Which is all about wealth, prosperity, and abundance.
Okay.
It forms when the lords of certain houses, specifically the 9th and 10th houses, are in angular houses, which are the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th.
Okay, so if you've got Gaja Yoga in your chart, you might be extra lucky.
You could say that.
When it comes to finances and career.
It suggests a natural talent for attracting wealth and achieving success.
Sign me up for that yoga.
Right.
What other examples are there?
There's also Lakshmi Yoga.
Lakshmi Yoga.
Which is associated with beauty, good fortune, and overall well-being. And this one forms when benefics, like Jupiter or Venus, are placed in angular houses or tied to the ascendant.
So people with Lakshmi Yoga might have that special something.
They often do.
That draws good luck and opportunities.
They might be blessed with, like, natural beauty, a charming personality, and a life filled with abundance.
These yogas sound pretty amazing.
They offer a glimpse into the possibilities when those cosmic energies align in your favor.
Wow. And there are many other yogas.
There are many, yes.
Wow.
Each with its own unique benefits and influences.
Analyzing a birth chart for yogas, like a treasure hunt, right?
Yeah.
You're searching for those special combinations that reveal strength and potential for success.
Exactly. And understanding these yogas can empower you to make choices that align with your natural gifts and talents.
Now, let's take a closer look at those 12 houses.
Okay.
We've talked about them in general, but I'd love to hear more about each one.
Yeah.
And how planets in those houses can influence different areas of life.
Of course, remember, the 12 houses are like a blueprint for your life.
Right.
Each representing a different domain of experience.
Okay, let's start with the first house.
All right.
The house of self.
So the first house, or Lanya, is all about beginnings, you know, your personality, physical appearance, your overall approach to life, and how you project yourself to the world.
Okay.
The planet here, especially the ruler of the sign, heavily influences these aspects.
So someone with Mars in the first house might have like a very assertive, energetic personality.
They might be bold,
courageous,
and always ready to take action.
What about the second house?
Okay. The second house.
House of wealth and possessions.
Yes, it's all about your material resources.
Okay.
your values, sense of security, and ability to accumulate wealth.
Okay.
Planets here can indicate your financial prospects. Okay.
Your spending habits?
Yeah.
And your overall attitude toward money.
So someone with Jupiter in their second house might be naturally lucky with money.
They often are.
Or very generous.
They might attract financial abundance effortlessly.
Okay.
Or have a knack for managing their resources wisely.
Let's move on to the third house.
Okay.
The house of communication and siblings.
So the third house is all about communication.
Okay.
Mental agility, siblings, short journeys, and your immediate environment.
Okay.
The planets here influence your writing and speaking skills.
Okay.
Your courage.
Okay.
And relationships with siblings and neighbors.
So someone with Mercury in their third house might be a gifted communicator.
That's right.
Or have a lot of siblings.
They might be witty, quick-witted, and naturally expressive.
Okay, now the fourth house.
Right.
The house of home and family.
The fourth house represents your roots.
Okay.
Your home environment, family, emotional security, and connection to your mother.
Okay. The planets here can indicate the nature of your upbringing, your domestic life, and your relationship with your mother.
So someone with the moon in their fourth house might be deeply connected to their family.
Exactly.
And have a strong need for emotional security.
Home is their sanctuary.
Okay.
And family ties are incredibly important to them.
Next up, the fifth house.
All right, the fifth house.
The house of creativity and children.
Yes. It's all about self-expression, creativity, romance, children, hobbies, and your capacity for joy and pleasure.
Okay.
Planets here influence your romantic relationships.
Right.
Your creative talents and your ability to find happiness.
So someone with Venus in the fifth house might be like a hopeless romantic.
They often are.
A talented artist, or simply lucky in love.
They might have a passion for the arts,
Okay.
a charming personality, and a fulfilling love life.
Now on to the sixth house.
Okay.
The house of health and service.
This house is traditionally associated with health and illness.
Okay.
Obstacles, enemies, daily work, and routines. Planets here can indicate your physical well-being, your work environment, and your ability to overcome challenges.
So if someone has Saturn in the sixth house, they might face health issues or have a challenging work life?
It's a possibility.
Right.
They might experience delays or obstacles in their career.
Okay.
Or have to work harder than others to achieve success.
Okay.
But it can also mean they have incredible discipline. And dedication to their work.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now let's explore the seventh house.
Right.
The house of partnerships and marriage.
The seventh house is all about your one-on-one relationships, marriage, business partnerships, and open enemies.
Okay.
The planets here can show the nature of your partnerships, compatibility with others, and your ability to compromise and cooperate.
So if someone has Venus in the seventh house, they might be drawn to harmonious
Absolutely.
and aesthetically pleasing partnerships.
They likely value diplomacy and desire a balanced and loving relationship.
Now for the eighth house.
Okay.
The house of transformation and the occult.
The eighth house is, well, it's complex and often misunderstood. It represents transformation, death, and rebirth.
Okay.
Inheritances.
Yeah.
Occult knowledge and other people's resources.
Okay.
It's a house of deep change.
Right.
Sometimes upheaval.
Yeah.
But it can also bring about profound growth and spiritual awakening.
So someone with Pluto in the eighth house might go through like intense transformations.
Same right. The eighth house is where we confront our deepest fears and insecurities.
Yeah.
But it also holds potential for healing and regeneration.
Okay, on to the ninth house.
All right.
The house of higher learning and spirituality.
The ninth house is all about expanding your horizons, both physically and mentally. It represents higher education, long-distance travel, philosophy, religion, and your search for meaning and purpose.
Okay.
Planets here can show your beliefs, your worldview, and your thirst for knowledge and spiritual growth.
So someone with Jupiter in the ninth house might be drawn to philosophy, travel, higher education.
They might be lifelong learners, spiritual seekers, or adventurers at heart.
Now let's talk about the 10th house.
Okay.
The house of career and public reputation.
The 10th house is like the peak of the chart, representing your career, public image, ambitions, achievements, and your father.
Okay.
Planets here can indicate your career path, professional success, and reputation in the world.
So someone with Saturn in their 10th house might be hardworking and ambitious.
That's possible.
But also face delays or challenges in their career.
They might need to work hard to reach their goals, but they have the potential to achieve great heights.
Moving on to the 11th house.
Okay.
The house of friends and aspirations.
The 11th house is all about your social network, friendships, hopes and dreams, gains and income, and connection to groups and organizations. Planets here can show your social life, your ability to network, and potential for financial gain.
So someone with Venus in the 11th house might have like a large supportive social circle.
They often do.
Be popular and will like.
They might make friends easily. And be great at building lasting relationships.
Finally.
Right.
The 12th house.
The 12th house.
The house of the subconscious and hidden realms.
The most mysterious and elusive of them all.
Right.
It represents your subconscious mind. Hidden feels and desires. Past karma, spiritual journey, and institutions of confinement. Planets here can indicate your spiritual inclinations, capacity for self-sacrifice, and potential for isolation or retreat.
So someone with Neptune in their 12th house might be highly intuitive.
They might be.
Spiritual. Or drawn to solitary pursuits.
The 12th house is a place of deep introspection and spiritual exploration, but can also be a source of challenges related to escapism or self-undoing.
Wow, that was quite a journey through the 12 houses. It's amazing how each one represents a different part of life, and the planets within them paint such a detailed picture. Now, I'm curious, how does Hindu astrology handle events on a larger scale? Like national or global affairs?
That's where mundane astrology comes in.
Mundane astrology.
It uses the same principles as natal astrology. But it applies them to the horoscopes of countries, cities.
Wait, so countries and cities can have horoscopes?
Exactly. And these horoscopes can be used to analyze political trends.
Wow.
Economic cycles, natural disasters, and other events impacting large...
Welcome back, Cosmic Explorers. We're picking up where we left off in our deep dive into Hindu Predictive Astrology. And let me tell you, things are about to get really intriguing.
Oh, I like it.
In the last part, we learned about muhurta, choosing those cosmically aligned times for important events. But what about those burning questions you need answers to right now?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like, does Hindu astrology have a tool for that?
It absolutely does, and this is where things get really interesting. Especially for those new to the system. It's called horary astrology, or prasna in Sanskrit.
Prasna. It sounds like a question itself.
Yeah.
So how does this work? Can you actually ask the stars a question?
Well...
and get an answer?
In a way, yes. In prasna, a chart is cast. For the exact moment a question is asked. And then we analyze that chart to determine the potential outcome of the situation.
So the time the question pops into your head, it becomes like a mini birth moment. For that specific question.
It's like taking a snapshot of the cosmic energies at that precise time.
Okay, cool.
To gain insight.
Okay, let's say I've lost something important. My keys, my lucky charm, the essentials. Could I use prasna to track it down?
You could. An astrologer would cast a chart for the moment you asked about your lost item, and then analyze it to determine its potential location.
So they'd be looking for planetary placements or aspects that might hint at the direction, the environment where it might be?
They'd also look at the house associated with lost objects, which is typically the second house. There are even techniques to estimate how far an object might have been moved.
Oh, wow.
Based on planetary positions.
That's like a cosmic game of hide and seek.
You could say that. And prasna isn't limited to lost objects. It can be used for love, relationships, career, health, finances, travel, really almost anything.
So if you're facing a decision and you need guidance, prasna can offer like some cosmic perspective.
Exactly. It's a way to tap into that universal wisdom for clarity and informed decision-making.
Hindu astrology is like a Swiss Army knife of cosmic tools.
I like that.
Now, you mentioned health.
Yes.
And I know there's a whole branch dedicated to medical astrology.
There is.
Could you tell us more about that?
Certainly, medical astrology uses astrological principles to understand health and potential vulnerabilities.
Okay.
The basic idea is that each planet and sign rules specific parts of the body and certain physiological processes. By analyzing your birth chart, a medical astrologer can identify potential health challenges and offer insights into ways to maintain well-being.
So each planet and sign has its own territory within the human body.
Exactly. For example, Mars is associated with muscles, blood, and energy, while Saturn rules bones, teeth, and the aging process.
Interesting.
The 12 signs also correspond to different parts of the body, starting with Aries ruling the head and Pisces ruling the feet.
So by looking at the placements of planets in the signs and houses,
yes,
a medical astrologer can get a sense of your overall constitution.
Exactly.
And potential health risks.
They would pay close attention to the 6th house, the house traditionally associated with health and illness.
Would a medical astrologer actually diagnose illnesses?
It's important to emphasize that medical astrology is not a replacement for modern medicine or a doctor's diagnosis. It's a complementary approach that can provide additional insights.
So it's more about preventative care.
Precise.
And understanding the underlying patterns.
Medical astrology can pinpoint areas of potential weakness and suggest ways to strengthen those areas through lifestyle choices, diet, or even specific remedies.
Okay, that's helpful to know. Now, we've been talking about astrology in general.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about specific considerations for female birth charts. Is there a branch of Hindu astrology that addresses this?
There is. It's called female horoscopy, or Strijatika.
Strijatika, okay.
And this branch recognizes the unique experiences and cycles women go through, like puberty, menstruation, pregnancy, and menopause.
So it's not just applying the same rules.
Exactly.
But understanding, like, the unique biological and social realities women face.
Strijatika also explores topics like the timing of marriage, marital compatibility, and childbirth.
So a more nuanced and specialized approach.
Yes.
Now, we've covered various branches of Hindu astrology, but one concept still feels a bit mysterious to me. The Ashtaka Varga system. Can you demystify that for us?
Certainly. The Ashtaka Varga system is a fascinating technique for evaluating the strength and beneficence of planets throughout your life. The basic idea is that each planet gains or loses points as it transits through the different signs of the zodiac.
So it's like a scoring system.
Precise.
For the planets based on their location.
These points are tallied to create a unique chart called the Ashtaka Varga chart.
It starts showing favorable and unfavorable periods. For specific activities or areas of life.
How are these points assigned? What determines whether a planet scores high or low in a particular sign?
It's based on a complex set of rules that consider the planet's relationship to other planets. Its inherent nature, whether it's beneficial or challenging, and its placement in specific houses from its own position and the moon's position. So if a planet is transiting a sign where it's considered strong, it gains more points.
Exactly. And if it's in a sign where it's weaker or debilitated, it loses points.
Once you've calculated these points, how do you actually use the Ashtaka Varga chart for predictions?
The Ashtaka Varga chart helps identify periods when a planet is likely to be more beneficial or challenging. For example, a high score for Jupiter in your 2nd house suggests that Jupiter's transits through that sign will be good for finances.
So it's like fine-tuning the interpretation of transits.
You got it. It's a way of seeing how the movements of planets create these subtle and significant influences on our lives.
Now, speaking of transits, does Hindu astrology place as much emphasis on them as Western astrology does?
Absolutely. The study of transits, known as Gochara in Sanskrit, is fundamental to Hindu predictive astrology. It's all about how planets moving through the zodiac interact with the planets in your birth chart, triggering events or experiences.
So it's like a cosmic dance. With the planets in the sky, partnering with those in our personal charts.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
And as in Western astrology, some transits are more significant than others.
Right. Depending on planets, aspects, and house placements involved.
So, for example, a transit of Saturn over the moon in someone's birth chart could bring, like, increased responsibility.
That's certainly a possibility.
Or emotional challenges.
Saturn is often associated with limitations, delays, and hard lessons. But its transits while challenging can also be times of immense growth and maturity.
Okay, are there any transits that are considered especially important in Hindu astrology?
Yes. The transits of Jupiter and Saturn are often considered significant because they move slowly.
Okay.
So their influence is felt over a longer period.
So Jupiter transiting someone's 10th house, the house of career, could be a time of professional advancement and recognition.
It could be. Jupiter is often linked to expansion, opportunity, and good fortune.
Right.
So its transits can be quite beneficial, but there's another layer to consider: Veda, or obstruction.
Veda. Okay, what's that? How does that affect transits?
Veda adds a nuance to the interpretation of transits. It suggests that certain planetary positions can block or weaken the positive effects of other transits.
So even if a transit looks positive, it might not fully manifest if it's obstructed.
Exactly. The rules for calculating Veda are very specific.
Okay.
For example, if a planet is transiting your 11th house from the moon, its positive effects might be obstructed if another planet is simultaneously transiting the 5th house from the moon.
That's like a cosmic traffic jam.
Yeah.
One planet's energy is getting in the way of another's.
That's a great analogy. Understanding Veda is essential for making accurate predictions. Now we've got the birth chart, the dasas, the Ashtaka Varga, and the transits all working together to create this really complex picture.
It's amazing how all these elements intertwine.
It is.
To reveal insights about a person's life.
And the skillful blending of all these factors is what makes Hindu astrology such a rich and nuanced system.
Absolutely. Now, we've mentioned a few resources throughout our deep dive, but are there any specific ones you'd recommend for listeners who want to explore further?
Absolutely. B.V. Raman's Hindu Predictive Astrology is a great place to start.
Okay.
It covers many of the foundational concepts we've discussed.
Okay.
For those interested in Harari astrology, his translation of Prajna Tantra is a classic. And for anyone wanting to delve into female horoscopy, Professor B. Suryanarayan Rao's book, Sri Jataka, or Female Horoscopy, is an excellent resource.
Those are fantastic recommendations.
There are also many other books, websites, and even experienced astrologers who can offer guidance and support.
Remember, the study of astrology is a lifelong journey.
It is.
There's always something new to learn and discover.
That's the beauty of it, reflecting on this ancient system. What stands out to you?
Welcome back, fellow astro enthusiasts. We're wrapping up our deep dive into Hindu predictive astrology.
Okay.
And I'm feeling like we've only just, scratched the surface of this vast and intricate system.
It's true. There's always more to learn and explore with astrology. It really is a lifelong journey of discovery.
Exactly. And in this final part, I kind of want to delve into something that's been on my mind.
Okay.
We've talked about all these intricate calculations and techniques, but where does intuition fit in? Does the astrologer's personal experience and insight play a role in interpreting a chart?
That's a great question, and it's a point of discussion even among seasoned astrologers. Some believe the chart should be read strictly by the rules, while others feel that intuition and experience are crucial for a more nuanced and personalized reading.
So it's like the rules provide the foundation.
Yeah.
But the astrologer's insight brings it to life.
Exactly. Think of it like learning a musical instrument.
Okay.
You start with scales and technique.
Yeah.
But as you progress, you develop a feel for the music that goes beyond the notes on the page.
So it becomes more of an art.
Yes.
Expressing the essence of the music rather than just playing the notes.
And in astrology, that's where the astrologer's intuition comes in.
Right.
Weaving together that technical knowledge with a deeper understanding of the individual and their unique journey.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense now, thinking about your own journey with Hindu astrology. What aspects have resonated most with you personally?
For me, it's the emphasis on karma and rebirth.
Okay.
The idea that our present lives are shaped by past actions.
Right.
And that our current choices influence our future incarnations. It brings a profound sense of purpose and responsibility to our actions.
It's a powerful reminder that we're not just passive observers in this cosmic play.
Right.
But active participants shaping our own destiny.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes astrology so empowering. Yeah. It offers a framework for understanding the patterns and cycles of our lives, guiding us toward choices that are aligned with our soul's growth.
Well said. We've covered an incredible amount in this deep dive.
We have.
From the basics of a birth chart to complex predictive techniques.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
And I hope it's inspired you to explore this ancient and profound system further.
I know I've learned so much. And I'm sure our listener has too.
Me too.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder.
Okay.
We've discussed the power of planetary influences.
Yes.
But remember, you are the ultimate author of your life story.
That's a crucial point. Astrology provides a map.
Right.
But you choose the path you take.
Exactly. So as you continue exploring Hindu astrology, ask yourself, what unique gifts and talents are revealed in your birth chart?
Okay.
And how can you use this knowledge to create a life that's truly meaningful and fulfilling?
Astrology is a tool for self-discovery and empowerment.
Right.
Embrace its wisdom.
Yeah.
But always remember, the power to shape your destiny lies within you.
And with that empowering message, we wrap up our deep dive into Hindu predictive astrology. Thank you so much for joining us on this cosmic adventure.
It's been a pleasure sharing this journey with you.
And as always, keep exploring, keep learning, and happy deep diving.